Okay. So on the eve of football, if you're European or anywhere but North America, or soccer for those of us in North America, um, I've always wanted to see hockey do this. I used to have, and some long term fans of the channel know this. When I was a teenager, I had um, names created for players, and I had teams, and I had drafts, and I had my own little hockey league that would go. But during the summer, I did World Cup tournaments because they were fun, and I would usually limit it to 16. Now for this video, I've gone with 32 because why not? Because the soccer/football World Cup is at 32, and it's soon going to be 48. Why not? The weird thing is that I've seen Canada as low as like 104. I think they were at one point not that long back, and it was really sad. They were getting destroyed by El Salvador regularly, and it was like, wow, this is awful. But I think that hockey, if it wants to grow on a world stage, I think this kind of a tournament would be fun. Now, I can't see them ever going to 32, but using double IHF rankings and just going based on that to do the tournament the way it would work out, it ends up with some interesting matchups in the groups. Group A is Canada, South Korea, Austria, and Iceland. Iceland stands out because of D2, Mighty Ducks. Maybe it's a prophecy. Maybe Iceland's going to be this big world power. I remember when I heard D2, it's like, oh, and then they face world power Iceland, and I'm like, wait, so Iceland's a good country because they've got ice in their name? This is so sad, and that's why I couldn't watch it. Group B, you've got Germany, Norway, Ukraine, and Lithuania, and this is fun for all four teams. So you've got this European field. There's a lot of European teams in here. I'm gonna be honest with you. South America doesn't really show up, and it's a sport that might be hard to market where you don't get snow or ice or cold, and that does make a difference in the marketing of hockey. Whereas with soccer/football, anybody can get a ball and go out and play, even in the snow. I used to play soccer in the snow; it was no big deal. Um, but hockey on ice when it's 35 degrees out, you can't have an outdoor rink. Back east you can, you can have an outdoor rink during the winter, but not here on the west coast where I am. You can't have an outdoor hockey rink, not in your backyard, not like you can in eastern Canada or in the prairies especially. And that definitely affects the ability of the game to grow. Group C, Czech Republic, Latvia, Great Britain, Croatia. Hey, look, it's four more European countries, but Great Britain being in there is kind of fun. I've always thought that if the British really picked up the game big time, and I know I've got British viewers, how you doing? Um, I've always thought that if Britain really picked up the game, I mean, Britain was a world power at its beginning, the very beginning of hockey, and I'll get into that. I'm going to do videos on historical places of teams in world hockey and where they are now and where they were, because it's interesting. Because Great Britain was right up there with Canada at the beginning and then fell off, and I really think that if the Brits had the interest and if it had the public profile, I think it could do very very well. I really do. It is definitely an area that I don't know that the NHL's paid enough attention to it. They're trying to sell it in China, which I get, but why not throw some games into England and Scotland and Ireland, and you could really probably get some interest there, I would think. Group D, Russia, Belarus, Italy, and Serbia. Well, there you go. Four more European countries. Serbia is an interesting one. I was surprised to see them at 30th. Italy, of course, the interesting thing is by this tournament, they would make it for a hockey tournament and not for football, where they're not in the World Cup this year, which is really weird. And though I don't cheer for Italy in particular, it is really weird not to have them there. Belarus and Russia, that's a fun matchup. And anytime that's a fun matchup. Group E, the U.S., France, Hungary, and Romania. So the U.S. breaks up what would be another group of European countries. And this is part of, I think, what would sell this, is that these European countries have natural feuds from football. So you can bring that in here. It's weird to say football instead of soccer. I get it. European viewers will get it. North American viewers will be like, don't you mean soccer? But yeah, this would definitely bring out some natural rivalries, and maybe it gets on TV. Maybe a game between Hungary and France where Hungary upsets the French. maybe that gets some attention nationally. Maybe qualifying for a groups the next group stage. So out of 32 teams, 16 make the playoffs, doing exactly the same as the Football World Cup. If a team makes that group of 16 that normally you go, that country made it, I think that could be huge for that country. Group F, Finland, Denmark, Poland, and Netherlands. Well, the Finns love this. The Finns would love this very much because, look, Denmark, Poland, and Netherlands, all European countries, and all countries that we would expect the Finns to beat. But Denmark's been on its way up. I really would think that this would be a fun little game between Denmark and Finland. And the Poles and the Dutch, who knows? Maybe the Dutch can pull off an upset here. On a world stage, when you're looking at this kind of a tournament, I romanticize the idea that in a one game round robin sort of setup that you can see an upset a lot better, a lot easier than if it was a 2 goals or 2 game most goals win kind of thing like football does with playoffs. Hockey used to do that with playoffs too, way back when. Again, that's the kind of thing I'll get into with historical videos this summer. Group G would be Switzerland, Slovakia, Japan, and Estonia. How much fun would that be? Now, I know there's Canadians going to be watching this going, I wouldn't watch any of those games. It's not about Canada. Just like the World Cup isn't about Germany. Yet Germany is a world power, and odds are they stand tall at the end of this tournament, and they're the winners. But it's not about Germany. It's about this world feel. And hockey hasn't had that. Baseball doesn't have it either. World Series, it's great. There's one Canadian team, the rest of them are American, so awesome. It's so weird. But this just feels like something that would be a lot of fun, even though most of it's European countries and all. Group H. In Group H, you have Sweden, Slovenia, Kazakhstan, and Spain. And I'm going to go ahead and say that with Kazakhstan and Slovenia, Sweden could have a game or two that they have to worry about. And honestly, this setup is fantastic. Now, for the countries that don't qualify for the top 32, I was kind of surprised to see some of these countries on here. China, Israel, Mexico, Australia, Belgium, Bulgaria, New Zealand, Georgia, the former Soviet Union province, North Korea, Luxembourg, Turkey, South Africa, Hong Kong, Chinese Taipei, United Arab Emirates, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Turkmenistan, and Kuwait. That's the top 50 right now in IIHF, is all these countries and these countries. I didn't mention Ireland. There was a big article in a magazine I had from, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, that talked about the game of hockey growing in Ireland and Irish players playing it and these Irish brothers that were very well known. And honestly, I really think if the NHL wanted to have a World Cup of hockey and make it a World Cup, you can't have Team Europe, you can't have Team North America, and you're going to have to let countries in that don't have a lot of NHLers, or in some cases, any NHLers play, because it's really the best for the game of hockey. Look at Germany right now. They win the silver medal at the Olympics. They're the number 8 team here. They did well in the World Championships too. It's all about making it so that fans for certain countries can say, hey, we've got a shot on a world stage. Maybe we can knock off one of the big dogs. You have this every 4 years. You have tournament play-ins between these countries and some of the lesser lights. You see who gets in. You can hand the top 8 spots to the top 8 countries in the world, and it ends with Germany. None of the NHL players really have to worry about qualifying games or their country being in. They're virtually all in, except Slovenia, where you got Kopitar. But really, honestly, most players for NHL teams that you're going to be worried about are going to be in this. And if you did it during the summer, it's kind of fantastic. You just make sure you're not up against the World Cup of football/soccer, and you're golden. I really think that, and again, I know it's not going to be 32, but if you did a tournament with 16 countries, and you did it in this kind of a setup, I really think it would be a lot of fun. And this is what I would love to see hockey do, and see it done properly. And again, at the right time of year, do it right in the middle of the summer. So when we're fighting these blahs that, well, hockey's over, now what? Have a World Cup. Have qualifying games, and have it every 4 years. And have it really mean something. And the IIHF can make tons of money on this. The NHL could partner with them and make tons of money on this. Just think of all the jersey sales that Nike or Adidas could make off of this, and I really surprised that the NHL's never really put their heads together with the double IHF to make this work. I guess it's a matter of what's in it for us. That's what the NHL would say to this in all likelihood, but I think it'd be fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, it's just one of those fun things. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And for anybody wondering about my opinions on the World Cup of Soccer/football, there's a video about that on the Entertainment Guy channel, and I will include a link to that video in the comment section here. So good luck to everybody in that tournament. Thanks so much for watching my video talking about this one. I'll talk to you again soon.